Hey ladies, it's your girl Kid and welcome back to the channel. I actually have 4 videos to record tonight, but I'm really excited because each video is really good. So if you see a couple videos with this same hoodie on, now you know why. Let's go ahead and jump right into today's message. So today's topic is kind of wild. I'm 30 years old and I just came to the realization that I actually have some trauma issues, and one of those trauma issues is growing up without a father. Essentially how that affects your emotions, how it shows up in your marriage, in your daily actions, in the men that you choose, and the way that you live your lifestyle, even down to your sexual life and how many bodies that you have. I mean, it's really deep. And it definitely affects how you move through life. It's crazy that I just now am coming to this realization. It's pretty dope how this ties into the Bible. I had a stepfather growing up. He was cool. He was present at times, but he was not protective. He was there, but he wasn't like that dad that's like shielding, guiding, leading. It wasn't that. So when you don't have that type of covering as you're growing up as a young lady in a very vulnerable world, you grow up kind of learning how to survive instead of how to be led. You learn how you can protect yourself rather than how someone can lead you and protect you that way. My mom did a really great job showing me the sides of being a woman, the femininity of being a woman, how that looks like, how you carry yourself. But if you have that, but don't have the other half of it, how does that work in a marriage? You're this great woman, but you don't know how to be led, which is a huge part of the marriage. He just never said things like, this isn't okay. You don't wear this. You do this. This is what love looks like. This is how love should feel. You don't have to accept this. That guy's not the one for you, but I could see you with someone like this. Like, none of that was ever like just a normal conversation or something that was ever brought up. So again, you just kind of learn to lean into your own, and you don't know you're missing something until God starts healing you. And that's how I came to this whole realization. God is healing me and showing me my traumas, and he's using my marriage to do so. When a girl grows up without a father, she often becomes overly independent, hyper aware. Y'all, like my senses, I can read someone, I can sum someone up, I can tell a situation like clockwork. I'm really hypersensitive and hyper aware. I don't think that's a bad thing per se, but it is an outcome of a trauma. Most women are usually self-led and emotionally guarded, have these walls up where it's really hard to get through and be loved properly by a good man. And I hate that sometimes this is a stigma for African American women. We're really strong, attitude-ish women. And it's not because we want to be, but it's because we had to be. It's because of a gap, a trauma that we've experienced, that this is the outcome of not having proper guidance. And later in life, as we get older and deal with men and we're looking for a spouse, we're expected to trust leadership, and we're expected to follow directions, and we're expected to submit and be submissive to love. I don't think that the men or the people in general are realizing that you're dealing with someone who has been traumatized. You're not realizing that the person was never taught how to love a man in her life because she never had a good man in her life. She was never taught how to submit to a man that cherished her and treated her kindly because she didn't have a man that cherished her and treated her kindly in her life. This is where I started to realize the Bible story of Israel so differently. Like, I actually know what the story is about now. Israel coming out of 400 years of slavery and going into freedom is a whole trauma case study story. Stay with me, ladies, because I'm really going to explain how this all ties together. We're going to make a slight shift, but stay with me. When I read the story of Israel, they wanted to go back to Egypt. They were like really upset with God and they didn't understand. And they thought that this was just, what are they doing out in the wilderness? Like, it was tough for them to go from bondage to freedom. And I feel like God knew that all along. But for some reason, when we read their story, we think that they were rebellious. We think that they were stupid, ungrateful. But in actuality, they were traumatized. How many men deal with women and vice versa? Women deal with men and think that their man is stupid. They think that their man is ungrateful. They think that their man is incapable. They're traumatized. You're dealing with a traumatized person. Just like Israel, they lived under abuse. They had been controlled for hundreds of years. They were dehumanized for hundreds of years. We haven't even been alive for hundreds of years, and our traumas play such an effect on our lives. Can you imagine how it was for them? So when God delivered them from Egypt, He didn't give them a map and tell them, go figure it out. He was with them 24/7. And I'm about to show you, because I don't think we've ever looked at this story this way. God gave them what trauma survivors actually need. He didn't pressure them. He didn't speed them along. He gave them His 100% presence. Do you guys remember He gave a cloud by day? That's crazy. He literally was their emotional regulation. That was God saying, I'll cover you while you learn how to breathe again, while you learn how to understand what freedom is again, how you move into your soft era. I'm going to cover you while all this is new to you. I got you. And then He was the fire by night. This is a 24/7 thing. He never left them. He was the fire by night. That means safety. I will stay awake while you sleep. They needed presence from a holy God. They had no idea where they were going. They didn't even know who they were yet. They had no identity. All they knew was slave and slavery. All they knew was trauma, trauma, trauma. And God became their guide, step by step, 24/7, around the clock care. I feel like sometimes we give up on a lot of things because we don't understand, or they are triggers to our traumas or things that we dealt with as children and never healed from it. But really, God not giving us the full picture is on purpose. We see that with Israel. He didn't give them the full story. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to open the Red Sea. Then after that, I'm going to rain manna. He didn't give them a play-by-play book, because trauma doesn't heal through information. He was restoring their whole nervous system. A lot of times after we come from traumas, we tend to latch on to something that's familiar, whether that's a man, eating, food, diet, a lifestyle. We tend to gravitate and latch on to things when we're missing the whole point of just being in God's presence so that we can be healed. We miss that soft life part. And here's something that I personally learned along the way. After trauma, you can't jump back into things. You don't go from bondage to thinking clearly and understanding life overnight. Sometimes healing really does look like the soft life first. Not comfort for comfort's sake, but safety for restoration's sake. I really had to ask God in this lesson. I said, Lord, I want to know if you can be this for me. If you can be my 24/7 around the clock Father, to restore me, to give me back what was lost, to heal me from my traumas, to show me how I can be led. I literally asked him, I was like, can you be this for me? And of course, the answer is yes. So, if you're a woman who struggles with trust, whether in your relationship, in your marriage, at work, with friendships, if you're a woman who resists dependence, if you're a woman who feels uncomfortable being led, oh my gosh, this is a very uncomfortable thing for me in my marriage. If you're a woman who doesn't know how to rest, I have a very restless spirit, needing to stay busy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're broken. It means that you are healing, and God knows exactly how to father the fatherless. So when I think of the Israel story, he did not rush them into anything. He's not going to rush you into anything. He's going to lead you with the cloud by day, and he's going to guard you with the fire by night until you learn how to trust again. Ladies, God can really heal us, and he can really be our father. Sometimes it's okay to just leave the men alone, be in solitude, understand who you are in God, and kind of sit in that for a little bit. Well, ladies, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed today's message. It was a personal one, and I think a lot of ladies, more than we know, have some type of trauma or something that we're doing in our lives now that are blocking us from reaching the next level. We gotta just give it to God, because sometimes we can't fix all the ins and outs. So you ladies have a great evening. Merry Christmas, and I hope to see y'all in the new year in the next videos to come. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.